Well, this is a dangerous topic, but it is also unironically, in all due seriousness, a very good thing, or at least a sign of a very good thing, and for the precise same reasons why the Voldemort word makes such a frequent appearance in rap music. It is because the word has been transformed. A point I have made many times in the past already, but I genuinely view the reclamation of the word by the black community as an incredible achievement. Taking a word coined specifically to put you down and turning it into one that means my people, friend, brother, a term of endearment, etc. It is an incredibly powerful thing. And now, yet again, the word has been transformed, as it now means freedom. And no, I'm not joking. I am dead serious, because for the last 5+ years, vibrating your vocal cords in a certain way could lose you your job, your reputation, hell, friends and family even. The word can get classical books banned and people arrested. It can get professors reading documents with the word in them chastised and targeted by the media, where even the mere use of it, even by someone with the license to say it, becomes news. Even more incredulously, I found a case of a black man being fined $250,000 for saying it to another black person. It is honestly difficult to overstate the persecutory and prosecutory power this word has been granted. I mean, think about it. If arresting your ass and fining you $250,000 is on the table, how much worse could it actually get? Well, actually, I know the answer to that, as the previous examples were all in the US, a relatively free place. Whereas over in Britain, you can get arrested and convicted for a Snoop Dogg song. With all that in mind, it is hardly surprising that a lot of people, 500% more so than yesterday apparently, find it liberating to be able to use it on social media sites. In theory, mind you. As I hurry to point out, Elon has only been in power for a day or so, and the Twitter TOS has not yet been changed, and is currently being enforced by people who are rather unsure about their job security. Nor, by the way, is it certain that the TOS will be changed either. But whether it does or it doesn't change the point I am making. Very clearly, a substantial number of people feel very strongly about this word, or more correctly, they feel very strongly about what the word has come to represent: freedom of speech. And again, I feel the need to stress that I'm not joking, because in a way I do understand the disbelief of those in opposition to it. It's a bad word used by bad people for bad things. We all agree. Surely, it can therefore also not be a good thing. But here's the thing. I view it the exact opposite way. As a child of the late 90s and early 2000s, I remember racial comedy was everywhere. To this day, my favorite comedians are people like Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, and Dave Chappelle, and they would roast everyone, because the joke wasn't that making fun of people's race was funny, the joke was that racism was funny. I remember a skit, for example, by Dave Chappelle about Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist. Now, today, that's not even a joke anymore. Ridiculous though it might sound. It is real life. It is news, straight up. But back then, it was not only funny and ridiculous, its message was very clear. Racism is pretty damn stupid, frankly. And it delivered that message in that amazing, irreverent way of the time. And that is the key word, by the way. Irreverence. A lack of respect, in this case for authority and the mainstream. A beautiful trait of the time that took many forms. Another older but still much the same example is a George Carlin segment called The 7 Words You Can't Say on Television. It's pretty easy to guess what that one was about, but as childish as it sounds today, swear words on the TV, oh my god, it was cutting edge back then. It was people saying things that made other people, especially those in power, uncomfortable, and then asking them why. Now, this is simply happening again. The masses have identified a word that deeply upsets the pretty people on the television, and they have decided to ask them, why? And the more strident and angry their response becomes, the more taboo they make asking the question, the more interesting it becomes for the masses. But the difference, of course, is that back in the day when comedians were doing it, it was during a truly unifying time, when the topic of race, while still there, it was considered practically an issue of the past, a problem already solved or on the way to being solved. And so, now we would just all laugh together about it. We would watch media like The Fresh Prince, which made Will Smith one of the most famous people on Earth, and movies like Rush Hour with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. But today, we've lost all of that. Well, lost. As if we've merely misplaced it somewhere. More like it's been entirely reversed, flipped completely, to an extreme degree that includes arrests and people losing their livelihoods. And this has spun off into so much of a bigger thing. The world is more polarized today than it has ever been in most people's living memory. And for the first time in even longer, the polarization is not so much between nations as between the people in the nations. You've got US media talking about a second civil war. This would have been beyond a joke a mere 10 years ago. And it is a clear sign that we, as the Chinese might say, live in interesting times. And yet, the re-emergence of but a single word actually is rather heartening, because it appears to suggest that we are returning to a period of freedom of speech. It seems to signal that we are returning to a period of de-radicalization. It appears, as ridiculous as it sounds, considering the current context of the word I'm about to speak, like we are heading towards a more tolerant time. A more inclusive time, even, if you will. And that is the reason why a 500% increase in the word that must not be spoken on Twitter is a good thing. A very good thing. Because if we could return to a time when even this, the most vile of slurs, was considered nothing more than a funny joke, our society would undoubtedly be far better off for it, compared to today's society, where it is literally a terrifying word, with incredible life-altering power, to the point where I'd like to now mention I haven't actually used the word at all in this video. I haven't even used the politically correct variant of the word. Because if I don't script this very carefully, I'm not going to have a channel tomorrow. It sounds, in a way, hyperbolic, in a way overblown, but the truth is that I, as a content creator, now I would say a pretty legitimate job in our current year, I can't speak this word. I am actually genuinely so afraid of speaking even the censored version of this word. If I, who have a decent-sized platform to make my point and get it across, is afraid of a mere vibration of the air, how do you think regular people feel? It cannot be, in a modern-day democracy, healthy, that people are afraid of a sound. And any step back from that tyranny of enforced thought and silence is a very, very good thing indeed. Until next time, assuming there is one, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.